Good morning and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help with that, I use an inspiring quote. Today's is so good. Bob Goff says, "We won't be distracted by comparison if we're captivated with purpose." I want to read that one more time and let it really sink in. We won't be distracted by comparison if we're captivated with purpose. So, what is your purpose? Are you still looking for it? Or have you found it? Yeah? Well, believe it or not, God has a purpose and a plan for you. In fact, I just did a quick Google search. I put in purpose in the scripture. And let me tell you, I've found some absolute gems in the Bible that talk about the purpose and the plan that God has for us. Of course, this is the one almost everybody goes to whenever you think about purpose. Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." But there are more. Esther 4:14 says, "Perhaps you were born for such a time as this." Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." Here's another one. Psalm 33:11, "The plans of the Lord stand firm forever, the purposes of his heart through all generations." He has a purpose for you. And you can even go all the way back to your beginning. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." I love that scripture because it shows us that there in Jeremiah that there was a plan from the very beginning. And guess what? There's a plan from the very beginning for you as well. And here's something to hold on to, because if God has put something in your heart, a passion, something that really grabs your attention, you gravitate toward this. He's given you skills, abilities, and talents to do this thing. I mean, to really excel at this thing. I love 2 Peter 3:9. "The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance." And it goes on and on. You're like, "Steven, those scriptures, they're talking about different things." No, they're talking about purpose and plan that God has. And he has a purpose and a plan for you. So remember that today. Keep moving forward. Don't get distracted by comparing yourself with other people because they have a different purpose. Maybe God has a different plan for them. They have their own things to take care of. You need to take care of what God has put on your plate, who God has put in your path, and pay attention to what he's telling you to do. Follow the leading of the Holy Spirit day by day. Be open to new experiences as well, because there's one thing that I've found. Sometimes you will feel led to do things that are out of your ordinary, but it's just the right thing at just the right time. God is using you in the lives of other people. So remember that. Here's Chris Tomlin with Holy Forever, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. It's real easy to fall into the trap of playing the what if game. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? What if they misunderstood what I said? But I want you to change the what if game to something better. How about this? What if it all works out? What if it's not near as bad as I thought it was going to be? What if? When you do that, you open yourself up to less stress and more positivity. And I'm not, being some quack saying, "Oh, think positive all the time because nothing bad is happening in the world." No, there's plenty of bad stuff happening in the world. But you've got to resolve to look for the good stuff. Because, if you're just looking for the bad, I guarantee you're going to find it. And it's going to be depressing. But if you're looking for the good, I guarantee you're going to find it. It's going to help you feel better. So, what if it's all working out? Here's Cody Carnes with Firm Foundation.
If only I were richer, taller, faster, smarter. If only we had met when I was younger. All those things, think about them. Now think about today. Today is the youngest you'll ever be. Could be the smartest. It'll definitely be the tallest you'll ever be. And maybe the most lovable you'll ever be. Use that. Go with it. Run with it. God bless you. God blessed us. And here we are.
Mom, Dad, I want to ride the roller coaster. Can I ride the roller coaster? I want to ride the roller coaster. Are you sure you want to ride the roller coaster? Yeah, I want to ride the roller coaster. And then you hear the tick, 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 tick as they're on that roller coaster. They're going up to the summit, just about to fall down, just about to go down that, that steep decline before they go up into the loop-to-loop. And they're like, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah, it happens. Or when your kid really wants to go on the high dive and they start walking up there, they get up to the top, they look down and they think, ooh, this is too high. And then they crawl back down the ladder. Yeah, there's something about actually doing the thing that's a little scary. But the cool thing I found is lots of times once you do it the first time, well, you kind of have some fun and you want to do it again and again, no matter how scary you thought it was. It's too much fun, right? Well, I've got a little bit of a story for you about this brother and sister who got just a little bit closer because they were in a pretty dangerous situation. At least they thought. So would you get on that slingshot ride? The one that kind of throws you up into the air and brings you back down? Yeah. Well, you're going to love the conversation this brother and sister had, and I'm getting ready to bring it to you. Stick around. I mean, it seems like a good idea. Everybody else is having a fun time. You hear them scream and yell, and they throw their hands up as they're riding that roller coaster. It looks like it's so much fun, so you think, hey, I want to do that. Until you get up to the top, and it's like, no, please, I want to get off of here. But now you're stuck. Yep, you're strapped in, and you're about to go for the ride of your life. That heart is just racing, right? That adrenaline is pumping, and you take that first little dip, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just reliving my childhood right now. I know some people don't like roller coasters, but they are so much fun. Yeah. How about other rides? Like when you go to the fair, you ever get on that big swing? The one that goes around and around? I was kind of afraid to get on those when I was a kid. So I didn't do that. But the zipper's fun. How about those ones that, the fair rides that spin you around and around? My favorite, actually, when I was a kid was called the Gravitron. You get inside this spaceship looking thing and it just spins and spins and it pushes you against the wall, and the pad that you're kind of leaning up against, it starts to slide up the wall. I loved that thing. So are you a thrill seeker? Well, likely the first time you ever got on that ride, well, it was kind of scary, but then the fun outweighed the scary and you were ready to do it again. Yeah. Stick around and talk about how this brother and sister, they bonded over a really scary ride, and you're going to love the way it turns out. So I'm going to share it with you after Toby Mac and Blessing offer with the goodness. Challenge the slingshot. You take your seat and buckle up. You hear the rumbling as your seat tilts back and you slowly drop down into the smoke and mist of the volcano. As your heart's pounding and your mind is racing, then boom! You are catapulted over 390 feet into the air, straight up, reaching speeds of 100 miles per hour in less than 2 seconds. Then you experience weightlessness for a split second before you free fall back towards the ground. And wait, the steel cables and giant spring machine then grab you and launch you straight back up to do it all over again. The slingshot, the most exhilarating and adrenaline-pumping thrill ride in the world. No age limit, just a minimum height of 50 inches. Adrenaline junkies only. That's how they market the slingshot. The Midway slingshot. You ever seen people do this before? They get in there, they got this like shoulder bar that comes down, it secures them, and all that I just read, that all happens. People think it's fun until they get on it, and they're being lowered down. What does that sound like? Well, I think you're going to love this. You see this brother and sister? They bonded over the slingshot.
I'm scared. Not scared. Samantha.
You're okay.
I regret this. We're okay. I'm going to die.
I'll say that. You guys ready?
No. Are we going to be okay?
Alright, here we go. 3.
No, please. Go, go. I'm your brother, okay? Nana, I'm your brother. I'll make sure you're okay, okay? We had our arguments and everything, but I promise I love you, okay?
Okay. I love
I'm
you.
gonna make sure you're okay.
I love you too.
It's okay.
I
Hold
wish
on
we
to
never
me.
had arguments.
It's okay, Nana. At the end of the day, we're gonna be friends and be brothers and sisters. Here we go, okay? Be careful, okay? It's okay, it's okay.
I'm doing what Mom and Dad told me to. Hold on. Never let go. Hold tight. Never let go.
Ready, Nana?
Hold tight. Never let go. Hold tight. Never let go.
Wow, yeah, you guys.
Sure, they may have had their disagreements, but now I think they're good. What do you think? Say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Give me the horn! All right, now I guess let's go ahead and crank that engine, and then let's start that music so I can say, hey everybody, it's time to play the Carline competition. It's your chance to win some gift cards this morning. Not 1, not 2, but 3 gift cards. That's right, I've got 1 to Wendy's for a Frosty, 1 to Albertville Home Bakery for a couple cupcakes or cookies, your choice, and 1 to the Caring Heart Thrift Store in Arab. Oh yeah. And when you call me up and answer my question and you get it right, you win all 3. We want you to keep 1 and give 2 away to 2 very special people. I'll even ask you, who are those 2 people, so you can share some love with them here on the radio. So let's do it, shall we? The first question of your Carline competition is as follows. The classic novel Black Beauty is about the adventures of which type of animal? Was it a dog, a cat, a rabbit, or a horse? 256-505-0885 is a number to call. I didn't think it'd take long. There's my caller already. I'm going to capture that call. Stay on the phone line with me while I start this next song, and I'll get your answer. Here's Shane and Shane with You've Already Won. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Is this Evelyn Hodges?
Yes.
It is. Very nice. All right, you want to have some fun?
Yes.
All right, here we go. The classic novel, Black Beauty, is about the adventures of which type of animal? A dog, a cat, a rabbit, or a horse?
A horse.
A horse is correct. Congratulations to you. I had every confidence in you. I knew you were so smart, and you'd get that. Hey, I wonder, what's your favorite book right now?
The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh, yeah. He just kept eating and eating and eating. I love that story. Well, cool. Well, hey, you just won 3 gift cards. We want you to keep 1 and give the other 2 away to 2 very special people. Can you tell me about those 2 special people?
My friend Ellie.
Ellie. All right. What do you love about Ellie?
She is so sweet.
Very nice. And who's that second person?
My friend Evie.
All right. Tell me something special about that friend.
The same as the other one.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you got some pretty nice friends. And that really helps the day go a lot smoother, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Well, thank you for calling me, Evelyn Hodges. I'm going to get these gift cards sent your way, okay?
Okay.
Thanks for calling. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye. On an early Sunday morning, a tiny and very hungry caterpillar hatches from his egg and searches for something to eat. For the following 5 days, Monday through Friday, the very hungry caterpillar eats through an increasing quantity of fruit. 1 apple on Monday, 2 pears on Tuesday, 3 plums on Wednesday, 4 strawberries on Thursday, 5 oranges on Friday. Each day, however, the caterpillar is still hungry. I love that book. It's so good. Hey, Evelyn, thanks for calling me. All right, let's do this again. I've got another question here. I wonder if you have what it takes to win. We're going to talk about a math fact now. So here we go. Which is true of a straight line? Is it A, between 90 and 180 degrees? Is it B, less than 90 degrees? Is it C, exactly 180 degrees? Or is it D, exactly 90 degrees? Ooh, 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Again, what's true about a straight line? Is it A, it's between 90 and 180 degrees. B, it's less than 90 degrees. C, it's exactly 180 degrees. Or D, it's exactly 90 degrees. A straight line. Call me with the right answer. Win some gift cards, 256-505-0885. And there's my caller. I'm going to capture it right now. Stay on the phone line with me while I start Jordan Feliz. And the king is alive. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Who am I talking to?
This is Brianna.
Brianna, all right. So what are you up to today?
Headed to work.
All
Just drop the
right.
kids off.
Very nice. All right, well, let's have a little fun here. Now, it's been a while since you were in math class, right?
Yes, sir. I have.
Like how long has it been? Let's reminisce.
I graduated in 2011, so
2011. Whoa. Okay, so what? 2011, 2021, 12 years?
yes, sir.
Whoa. All right. Do you think you still have some of that math knowledge rattling around in that noggin of yours?
I hope so, because I'm going to try to go to college.
Very cool. Well, I hope it's stuck then. Here we go. Here's
Yes,
your question. Which is true of a straight line? Is it A, between 90 and 180 degrees, B, less than 90 degrees, C, exactly 180 degrees, or D, exactly 90 degrees?
Is it C, 180 degrees?
That is correct. Congratulations. Wow, you got it. Yep, that stuck. And so I think you're going to be just fine heading on to college. So what do you want to do in college?
I'm going to get my applied associate's degree in business is my goal.
Very nice. All right. Well, I wish you luck on that. And I hope you're able to get it done quickly and get that degree.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome stuff. All right. So you know how this works. 3 gift cards, keep 1, give 2 away to 2 very special people. Could you tell me about those 2 special people in your life?
My mother and Glory. I have a lot of special people in my life, but you know.
Yeah. Tell me what
Yes,
you love
sir.
about Glory.
She's just a real friend. She tries her best to be there when she can for you
Yeah. Yeah. She's a pretty nice
and
lady.
help you in the storm.
Yeah, for sure. And what's your mom's name?
Paula,
All right. What do you love about that mom of yours?
well, she's just a mother, you know. They got that special love, special bond.
That's right. There's nobody like Mama.
No way.
That's good stuff. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Have a great day at work. You know, I acted surprised when she said it was 2011 when she graduated, but I forget sometimes how old I am. You know how long it's been since I graduated? It makes me feel so old. 23 years. I graduated in the year 2000. So, oh man, I'm happy to be here though. Yes, definitely older. Never thought I never thought about my 40s, but here I am. But Brianna, thank you so much for calling me, and I think it is awesome that you're wanting to go back to college and get that degree. That is so cool, and I wish you well on that journey. And I know that the people at CWJC help set you up for things like that. And Glory, actually, being the assistant director here in the Gunnersville CWJC. Probably got Andrea, the director, listening right now, actually on the radio. Probably about to get a text saying, yep, I'm listening. But hey, they're about to have a graduation coming up this Saturday. And I am so excited for them because these ladies have been here week after week after week going through this program. And it always does so much good in their lives. So many things that they cover in those classes. And I see them progress every session. It's crazy. A lot of people don't understand. CWJC's office is just down the hall from the office here, or from my studio. So yeah, I get to see these ladies like every day, and they're a lot of fun. Oh, by the way, Glory's little one yesterday had a birthday. She turned 4 years old. Ayla, and she's my little friend. I love seeing her. We'll like do high fives and all that. And anyway, so yesterday I was able to help her celebrate her 4th birthday. It was special. It was so much fun. So yeah, the ladies here at CWJC, they do an amazing job, and I'm just so glad that I get to witness it. All right, that's going to bring us to the end of today's car line competition, but don't worry, we'll play it again tomorrow starting at 7 o'clock. We got 2.5 hours of show left. What are we going to talk about? Well, stick around and find out. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. But first, let's get to some ministry and business impact partners, some weather, and some word of life. Your word of life today comes to you from 1 John chapter 4, verse 7 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. Dear friends, let us continue to love one another, for love comes from God. Anyone who loves is a child of God and knows God. Wow. Talking about love. How are you sharing love in your life? How have you been doing it lately? How can you creatively show more love to the people in your life today? I want you to think about it. What kind of things can you do that'll really brighten up somebody else's day? And think about it for just a little while, and then put it into practice. Let's see just how much better we can make this world around us today. Okay, take the challenge with me? Hey, you know, one way you can do it is by sharing that word of life. We've got it ready for you across all of our socials and at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Speaking of our website, you can go there and find out about this Zach Williams concert that's coming up in May. Yeah, tickets are already on sale, and actually, there's a pretty big discount on them right now. Click that banner for more information. Plus, just above that banner is that On Now button. Click that, and you can listen to us from wherever you happen to be, like they're doing right now in Reno County, Kansas. Thanks for making us part of your day. Plus, we got listeners right here in North Alabama and all the way across the ocean in Helsinki, Finland. And whether you're listening on the radio, the stream, or the podcast, thank you. When you were a kid, was it your just dying wish every day to just go to McDonald's to get a Happy Meal? Or maybe to play in the play place? It's like the one thing you wanted to do. It's like, Mom, Dad, if you take me there, I don't want anything else. And then the next day, it's like, Mom, Dad, can you take me to McDonald's? You remember all the characters that they had? Yeah, you know, you don't see much of Ronald McDonald anymore. And hopefully they'll start bringing them back. But, the Crocs Shoe Company is actually getting involved with McDonald's and making some themed Crocs after those characters. And I'm glad they are, because it's answering the age-old question. What age-old question, Stephen? Well, stick around and find out after Brandon Lake and Praise You Anywhere. I think you might just chuckle. Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. Yeah, try to say that 5 times fast, right? You like a good tongue twister? How about this one? How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yep, I've been practicing, right? Well, I say all that because it's very important to what I'm about to share with you. And get ready. You don't want to take a swig of coffee or anything right now. You need to keep your airways clear, because you're probably about to chuckle a little bit. I'm just saying. So here we go. Ready? McDonald's, the Golden Arches, Mickey D's. It goes by many names, but you likely would have never known about it if it hadn't have been for Ray Kroc. You see, Ray Kroc was the businessman who purchased McDonald's in 1961 and made it into a gigantic fast food empire. Now, did you hear that Croc's Shoe Company, the Croc Shoe Company, has partnered with McDonald's to fashion shoes inspired by the McDonald's characters? You know, characters like Hamburglar, Grimace, Ronald McDonald, Birdie, Mayor McCheese, and Officer Big Mac? Well, they have, and I'm glad they did, because this finally answers the age-old question: which Crocs would Ray Kroc rock if Ray Kroc could rock Crocs? Sorry, I'm just having too much fun. I'm going to say it one more time. Let's see if I can get through this quick. Which Crocs would Ray Kroc rock if Ray Kroc could rock Crocs? So there you go. That's your new question, your new tongue twister of the day. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I want to shout some people out real quick. I see you listening to us in Owensboro, Kentucky. Also, it just popped up over in Omaha, just outside of Omaha, actually. Thank you for making us part of your day. Also, we got Reno County, Kansas hanging out with us. North Alabama, we've got Arab in Gunnersville. Also, we've got listeners all the way over in Helsinki, Finland. Thanks for making us part of your day. So, you just missed my big tongue twister, right? It's the brand new one. I'll recap it for you, just in case. And tell you this, you can also catch it on the podcast after the show at 10:15. I put it up on Spotify. So anyway, here it is. And I've been thinking a little bit more about these tongue twisters. So the most recent one from that last story was: which Crocs would Ray Kroc rock if Ray Kroc could rock Crocs? Yeah, I was thinking, what are some other good ones? How about Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers? Remember that one? Can you say that one fast? How about this? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? See? You got to work through it. Oh, it's probably been a while since you thought of that one, right? Give it a try. Practice it a little bit and astound your kids and grandkids with just how quickly you can say it correctly today. Here's Leanna Crawford. How can you not? These tongue twisters. I talked a little bit about them. I think maybe you have a tongue twister that you'd like to share with me. And we've got time to do it, so how about it? Call me up. Tell me your tongue twister. 256-505-0885 is a number to call. Again, 256-505-0885. I want to hear your really hard to say tongue twister. All right? Here's Micah Tyler with Praise the Lord. I just got a call, and so here we go. Let's get into this one. I love it. Bud Williams, what's up, my friend?
Who you, my friend?
Not a whole lot. Hey.
Beep, beep, Roadrunner. You remember Wile E. Coyote?
I do. He was always getting hurt.
He was always chasing Roadrunner, wasn't
I know it. Roadrunner always outsmarted him.
he? Beep, beep, Roadrunner.
Hey, I wonder, Bud, do you know any good tongue twisters?
Rubber baby, buggy bumpers.
That's a good one, man. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point, and man, does it tie you up.
That's the first time you ever heard that?
No, I've heard that one before. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Yeah, there's some that can kind of get you in trouble. My little girl tried to get me to say Sunshine City 5 times fast the other day, and I'm like, oh, no, because it doesn't come out quite right on that last word.
Sounds like you're saying the S word.
It sure does. She got me on that one. She sure did. She got me on that one. Bud Williams, thank you so much for calling me this morning. So what is your tongue twister? Maybe I've never heard it before. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear you say it too. Call me up, 256-505-0885. All about some tongue twisters right now. 256-505-0885. All right, back to the music. Stephen Stanley, No Hopeless Soul. Hey, Nikki, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. So I was talking about these tongue twisters, and you just happened to share one with me, and I just needed to hear you say it. So can you say that one for me? Because it's really tough.
Okay. A skunk sat on... Okay, let me try that again. A skunk sat on a stump. The stump thought the skunk stunk. The skunk thought the stump stunk. Who stunk? The skunk or the stump?
That was great. I tried that, and it's like, no, not happening. Wow. You must have practiced that one for a while, huh?
No, I had to hit that dude on repeat from the beginning there. You noticed?
I got you. So how's your day going so far?
Going good so far. Just getting started.
Glad to hear it.
So let's hear you say it.
Oh, okay. Here we go. I got it in front of me now. A skunk sat on a stump. The skunk thought the stump stunk. The stump thought the skunk stunk. Who stunk? The skunk or the stump? Ooh.
You did fantastic.
I actually got... Wow. Awesome. Well, Nikki, have a great day.
All right, you too, bud.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So much fun. I wonder, what is that tongue twister that you have learned that you can just rattle off? What's one maybe that you can't rattle off? It's like almost impossible for you to say it. I want to hear from you. I want to hear about this tongue twister. So it's open. Phone lines are open for that. Plus, I'm getting ready to share a story with you of one girl who was wanting to reach her potential. She had graduated high school early with honors. And she found herself in the middle of a career that she wasn't quite so excited about. So I'm getting ready to share that story. But I got a caller right now. So let me hit this song and I'll get to that caller and we'll be right back. Here's John Reddick with I Believe It. There's a 3-step process that you can take to make this, well, yourself really, a better person. And it's 3 very simple things. You want to hear them? All right, so here they are. Number 1 is be quiet. I know, right? It sounds so mean and harsh, but no, some other stuff is following. So 1 is be quiet. Number 2 is listen. Now, listening, we can do that for so many reasons, right? But listen as if to learn something. That's the 3rd part. Learn. So be quiet, listen, and learn. Those are 3 steps that we can take, simple things that will actually help us out tremendously. So many times it's like we listen to respond instead of listen to understand, right? And sometimes it gets us in trouble. But I've got a story for you of one lady who was given this advice very frankly by her mom. And she says it's the best advice she's ever gotten from her mother. And she's got a story to back it up. You're going to love it. So stick around and hear it next, right after Ren Collective. And hallelujah anyway. So I usually call and talk to my mom on my way home on Tuesdays after I get done here at the station. Now, Tuesdays are my long days because we do the Varsity Radio Show. And I don't know if you've ever listened to that. I know it's kind of edgier Christian music. It's Christian rap, Christian rock, and rhythmic music. But anyway, the focus of the Varsity is really to bring on local student athletes. And just yesterday, we brought on a couple baseball players. They're seniors from Boaz High School. We had a blast talking with these guys, and they were really a lot of fun. But, I think it's always so cool to bring athletes in who are just about to walk into the next chapter of their lives because they are finishing up high school and now they love their sport. Are they going to continue that when they move on to the next chapter, when they go to college? Or what is that next chapter going to look like for them? So we got those answers yesterday, but I was talking with my mom. I told her, I said, I love this because you get to kind of find out, well, what are they in the process of doing? Are they applying for scholarships? Do they have any people looking at them, trying to scout them to their school for their sport? Or, what do they want to be when they grow up? Because they're really close to that. Knowing the whole time that they could change their minds 10,000 times as soon as they get into college. In fact, it happens a lot. You kind of figure out what you want to do, right? Well, sometimes things don't pan out the way that you thought they would. But life happens. And that's what Mom told me. She said, sometimes life just happens. And so those plans, they don't quite pan out. But you still find a career. You still find a good life doing what you do. Yeah. I mean, something that happened to me. When I went to college, I was initially going to go for pre-med. I was going to try to be a doctor. But I felt a calling into music. And so I swapped it over to music. And guess what I do now? Every weekday, I hang out with you around all this music. It kind of worked out, right? Well, I came across this story of one lady. All these years later, she's looking back on her childhood and she's remembering one big lesson that her mom taught her. And it's the best advice she ever got. I'm going to let her share it with you. So here, take a listen and see what you think about this.
Here's a story for you. I grew up in a very subservient household. I didn't know what the streets looked like, and I didn't know anything about business. So when I decided I wanted to go to law school, because I graduated high school at 16, my father thought that was funny. I took a job in the fashion industry in New York City after attending the Fashion Institute of Technology. And I took a job as a receptionist. And I came home from work one day, and my mother said to me, "How's work?" Right? And I said, "Are you kidding? I graduated high school at 16, honors, top of my class. I want to go to law school, and I'm answering telephones and taking messages. How do you think my day was?" You know what she said to me? "Sarah, shut up, listen, and learn." Probably the best advice my mother ever gave me. I took those words and I did just that. And one day, the president of the company was having a sales meeting, and he came out to me and he said, "Sarah, under no circumstances are we to be disturbed." "Okay, I won't disturb you." In walks the wonderful woman. Her name was Sandy Creighton. She gave me a business card, and she said, "I am a buyer from Motor Day Stores in Burbank, California." I had no idea who she was. I had no idea what Motor Day Stores was. I didn't know how many stores they had. I had no idea. And she said, she was holding a hang tag from one of the items that we had in Macy's on 34th Street. And she said to me, "I'd love to see the line." And I said, "I can't interrupt the salespeople. Strict orders." And she said, "Well, can you show it to me?" "Sure." Why? Because I had shut up, listened, and learned. Salesperson that had a meeting in the showroom. I did just that. So I showed Sandy the line. In those days, the order pads were carbon copies. She took a whole list. She left me a copy. The owner of the company came out after his meeting, and he said to me, "Any messages?" And I said, "No. But we had a buyer here, and here's her note." And he looked at it, and he looked at her business card, and he said to me, "I can't believe that you didn't get me." I said, "Well, you gave me strict instructions not to. I follow orders." He said, "Do you realize who walked in the door?" The following week, the phone rang, and of course I answered it. And it was Sandy. And she said, "Sarah, how are you? How was your week? How was your weekend?" And we chatted, and she said, "I'm calling to place an order." And I said, "Okay, hold on. I'm putting the owner of the company on the phone. And 2 seconds later, he came out and he said to me, she'll give us an order, but only if you take it from her. So I picked up the line. I took her order. 20 minutes later, the owner's father, who was the CEO of the company, big man, big mahogany desk, you didn't want to get called into his office, called me into the office. I'm thinking to myself, I can't afford to lose this job. What have I done wrong? I went in. He said, sit down, shut the door behind you. Okay, I'm definitely getting fired, right? Sat me down, looked at me and said to me, clear out your desk, start looking for a replacement. You've just been promoted. You are officially in sales. Now, how'd I get there? Shut up, listen, and learn. Shut up, listen, and learn. My journey, my beginning, and that's how it started.
Mode O'Day Stores grew to be huge. 700 stores in over 30 states. That one purchase put Sarah on the map. Wow, just being quiet, listening, and learning can take you a long way. I just had to share it with you. So this dad is 33 years old, and he's gone over to Reddit asking people the question. He says this, my little lad is 13 months now, and I'm struggling socially. And my question is, when does it get easier? And that's a question that really got a lot of responses. I want to talk about that because who knows, that might be you right now in the middle of this childhood of your little one. You're wondering, when will I get my life back? Stick around. We'll talk about it after your weather and word of life. Children are a gift from God. That being said, well, let's just say that after you have kids, things change. They do. And in lots of ways, they change for the better. But some things maybe you miss after having kids. And you wonder, will I ever get that back? Well, that's exactly what this dad is going through. He's 33 years old. He was on Reddit. And he asked this question. My little lad is 13 months old. And I'm struggling socially. Every day feels like Groundhog Day. My weekdays consist of getting up, going to work, coming home, playing with blocks, and then going to bed. My weekends are the same, except I don't go to work. My question is, when does it get easier? Everybody I speak to laughs and says it doesn't get easier, and it's not helpful. It's one of those really frustrating answers where people think they're being comical. Realistically, I know my life has changed forever, and at what point do parents find that they start to get their life back? One of the most popular responses to his question provided hope for the future while making the subtle but essential point that it's crucial to enjoy the moment, as hard as it may be. Rest assured, it does get easier. I found that from 3 to 4, you can start to try to reason with them, and from 5, it's noticeably better, and then progressively better each year. I found it exhausting from 1 to 5, but now look back with fondness, wishing I could spend time with my toddler kids who no longer rely on me so much. Wow. I think this particular question struck a nerve in a lot of parents' hearts. What do you think? Yeah, another one says, 13 months is still pretty firmly in the baby stage, so normally parents take off responsibilities, invite people over, or find hobbies that can be done after the kid goes to bed or around the kiddo's schedule. Oh, that's a pretty cool idea. For example, I used to listen to podcasts on my drive to work and then read a book on my lunch break. Maybe your wife could have one night off a week where you handle dinner and bath time, and then you also get one night off a week. Maybe you could invite a friend to join you at the park with your son. Maybe you could look into hiring a babysitter for monthly date nights. Wow. A lot of good advice coming through, right? So I think this dad is well on his way to finding his life again, but his life will never be the same. Once you have a child, it's just different. And you know what I found? It's a good kind of different. So maybe you're in the middle of the struggle right now with your little one. Let me tell you, despite what other people say, it does get better. So just hang in there and keep doing the work, and you're raising an awesome kid. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Grandparents spoil you rotten, and it feels so good to be spoiled rotten, doesn't it? I mean, when you wanted something as a kid, if you told that to your grandparents, somehow they found a way to make it or something similar to it happen. Let me tell you, there's a little girl, her name is Lacey, and her grandma gave her some money to go to the store and buy whatever toy she wanted. She was pretty happy. She had $10 in her hand, and she was ready to go find something. But it's what happened next at the store that really will touch your heart. Stick around and hear the whole story at the top of the hour after Lauren Daigle And these are the days. They're like an endless supply of candy and quarters. I'm talking about grandparents. Yeah, they always have the good candy, right? And they're always ready to give you a piece. Oh, you love it. My mother-in-law, Marcia, she's been giving my daughter, Grace, these little coffee candies. Yeah, they're pretty good. I just jogged my memory on that one. But anyway, let me tell you, sometimes those grandparents, they are that source of all the quarters that you need for those little toy machines, you know, to get the little bouncy ball or the gumball, those kinds of things. Yeah, always fun. But let me tell you a little bit about Lacey. Lacey's a preschooler, and her grandma gave her roughly $10 and said, hey, why don't you have your mom take you to the store and you pick out whatever toy you want that you can buy with this. So she was a happy camper. Her mom, Caitlin, took her to the store, and while they were there perusing, kind of looking for that perfect gift, that perfect toy for her to have, they were approached by some employees there at the store. Yeah. So the workers asked if they could give a gift card to Lacey, explaining that earlier that day a woman had bought it and asked for that gift card to be given to a preschool child. So of course, Caitlin was like, sure, Lacey can have it. And when Caitlin opened that gift card, she found more than just the number that showed how much was on that gift card, which was around $50, by the way. But there was a message. In loving memory of our daughter, Juno, for today. Wow. It touched this mama's heart. She said, I just started to cry. And then the workers were crying too. It was very emotional. And after that heartwarming moment, Caitlin wanted to make sure to write a little post on Facebook so that hopefully this lady who wanted to remain anonymous would see it and know that they had received it, that she had really been blessed by this gift card. So she posted, all I can say is if Juno's mommy is reading this, I just want to say a huge thank you. She made my girl so happy, and I'm thinking about her and her family. It's very kind what she's done, and it's inspired other people to do the same. Wow. It shows a little picture here of this little one holding her toys. Yeah, Lacey is a happy camper, and both hands are full. But can you imagine the mom who was dealing with so much pain on that day, to turn that pain into something positive for another kid, to pay it forward? That takes strength. Wow. I just had to share it with you. There are different ways that we can honor the memories of those who've gone on, and this was a beautiful way of doing it. What brings you fulfillment? I want you to really think about that. I've got a little tip from somebody who helps people become all that they can be, kind of helps them to kind of look within themselves and take hold of those things that they are passionate about. You know, God has gifted you with certain abilities and skills and talents that make you perfect for a particular role. He's got a purpose and a plan for you. And finding fulfillment really has a lot to do with lining up with that. But I'll let him share it with you. Coming up after Torrin Wells and Crazy About You, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Stick around. I think you're really going to love this. I just looked up the word nature in the dictionary, and it says disposition or temperament. I want you to keep that in mind when you hear this advice from Tony Robbins.
If you're going to be fulfilled, you got to spend the majority of time in your nature. And by the way, under stress, you'll go back to your nature. The artist goes back to working on the products. The manager leader tries to change the organization. The entrepreneur wants to sell it and do something else. That's the nature of the person under stress. And under excitement, you tend to go back here. See, many of you came here wanting to be an entrepreneur, and you might be better as a skilled artist without all the risks, and then taking your money and investing in entrepreneurs that are already the best in the world that you'll never be because it's not your nature. And many of you have not considered that. So the real question is, what's your nature? If you can align with your nature, you'll eliminate so much stress. If you align with your nature, you're going to be 10 times more fulfilled. If you align with your nature, you're going to be 10 times more effective. But most of us have got our egos involved because of the conditioning of society, and we say, I want to be that entrepreneur, I want to be the guy that starts Google or Apple or whatever the case may be, and chances are that's not what you're going to do. You can still build a great business. Because in the end, the money's not going to do it. The situation's not going to do it. It's aligning with what fulfills you, that'll make you fully alive. And if you do that really well, you can also make more money than you can imagine. But you got to know your true nature and you got to align with it.
I love the way he said that. Knowing your true nature, your true disposition, your true temperament, what God has gifted you with. You know, you have these skills, abilities, and talents within you to do some amazing things. So what is it that you feel so fulfilled while doing? Well, maybe that's that plan and that purpose that God has for you is operating in that. Wow. Not only that, but then acknowledging other people's nature and what they do so well. And even leaning on the benefits of connecting with them. And so together we can do some pretty amazing things, you know? So I don't know, it just makes me think a little deeper about, you know, my role. What do I love to do? What do I feel fulfilled in? And how can I continue that? Because honestly, here at the radio station, there are a lot of things that have to be done. It's not just here on the radio talking with you and sharing some amazing good news and great music. It's also getting together with business impact partners, talking with them and making sure that the station stays funded. It's getting on the socials and making sure that we're communicating and we're interacting with everybody who's listening. And we want to give you more opportunity to kind of share faith and share love with the world around you. There's that. There's keeping up the website. There's staying on top of all the paperwork with the FCC. There's all kinds of things, and relying on other people's gifts, abilities, and talents to be able to handle things that aren't in my nature, I think is how you can really move forward together. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. How about you? What does it make you think? Yeah. Ponder it just a little bit. And see if it doesn't make your day a little bit better. Maybe you can put some things in place, some plans to make things better. Not just by yourself, but actually as a team with other people. What do you think about that? Give it a try. I'll try too. So something that's risen in popularity over the past few years is emotional support animals. And I get it, believe me. Animals bring so much comfort to us. Our pets, I mean, come on, they can really help us to kind of calm down, you know, get that blood pressure down. And maybe you're on the verge of a panic attack. Well, just stroking their fur can really calm you down a little bit. So I get it. But there are some interesting animals being used as emotional support animals these days. I just did a quick search on Google and I found the following: a duck, a turkey, a kangaroo, a pig, a squirrel, an alpaca, a bearded dragon, a ferret, a goat, a hedgehog, a monkey, a parrot, a peahen or peacock, and a snake. But sometimes, just sometimes, these animals can get rather large. So what do you do when you have a horse on the plane with you and the horse gets loose? That's a really good question. I bet you never thought of that before. So I'm gonna just go ahead and share the answer with you. This is what actually happened. I can't make this stuff up. There's a cargo plane that departed New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport and had to turn around shortly after takeoff. When it happened, and air traffic control, well, they got the message, and here's what that sounded like.
Atlanta 4592, guys. Yes, sir. We are a cargo plane. We have live animal horse on board the airplane, and the horse managed to escape his stall. We don't have a problem as of flying-wise, but we need to return back to New York. We cannot get the horse back secure.
Atlanta 4592, Roger. You are cleared to Kennedy via radar vectors. For now, fly your present heading. Descend and maintain flight level 220.
So there you go. It does happen. Now, it wasn't an emotional support animal. It was somebody's animal, that horse, but everything went fine. They got back to the airport. A vet came out, checked on the horse, and good to go. Resecured and left later on that afternoon toward Belgium. Yeah. Pretty crazy, huh? A horse on a plane. All right, more great music headed your... Could you imagine the kind of stories that horse can tell its children? Hey, there was this time that I flew. Sorry. Anyway, I'll get... let me just hit the music. Okay, here we go. Cochran & Company with Parking Lot. All right, so I already dug my hole with the horse on the plane, and I just did a little more research real quick, and I'll go back to the music, but here it is. Do you know how much it costs to actually transport a horse on a plane? Yeah. from $2,000 all the way up to $10,000 for a one-way ticket. A return flight can cost up to $20,000. And we thought that flying a commercial jetliner was expensive. Can you imagine having to put a few horses on a plane? That is crazy. And these were flying from New York to Belgium. Goodness gracious, that's an expensive thing. And anyway, back to the music now. Jordan St. Cyr and Rescue.
And some things you have to forget. Even the Apostle Paul helped us out. And he says, forgetting those things which are behind. Are you listening to me? That doesn't mean that you cognitively will never see it again in your mind. But what it means is I don't give power to it. Oh, somebody hear me today. You have got to release in this season your past failures, your past burdens, your past heartaches and defeats. And watch this, if you don't do that, these burdens, defeats, and watch this, catastrophic events and hurts are going to make you bitter instead of better. Look at somebody say, you gotta let it go. I said, you gotta let it go.
Here we are at the end of the show already. It's been an amazing 4 hours hanging out with you, and I hope you've had a good time. And maybe you weren't here at 6 o'clock when I shared this the first time, but I love this inspiring quote. Well, I do this because I've had 4 hours to kind of think about it, and here it is. See what you think of this. We won't be distracted by comparison if we're captivated with purpose. Bob Goff said that. I'm going to read it one more time. Just let it sink in. We won't be distracted by comparison if we're captivated with purpose. I love this. You know what it's saying to me right now? Let me tell you, Christian radio can be kind of a competitive thing, right? Because you're a radio station. There are other radio stations in your area. For us, there's one just down the road, Power 107.5. You know, used to. I'd sit here in the studio and I kind of listen in and see what they're talking about, this, that, and the other. And keep a check on their Facebook page and see what kind of responses they're getting and all that, because I want to make sure that we're doing a good job, and I want to see if maybe we're comparing to them. How are we comparing to what they're doing? And you know what I've realized? It doesn't really matter. My purpose is to share some really good news here on the radio to help make your day better. And the fact that another radio station is trying to do that too is just a good thing. So sometimes we let comparison rob us of joy. The fact of the matter is, there's some really good stuff being spread across this area, and it's the Word of God. It's Christian music. It's helped putting you in a good place, you know? So, hey, don't compare yourself to others. Stay focused on your purpose, the reason God has you doing what He's got you doing right now. That way you can be more effective, because if you spend all your time worrying about what the other person's doing, you can't focus on what you got to do. That's what it's saying to me right now. How about you? Don't compare. Just do what God called you to do. Hey, thanks so much for being here. I'm glad we can talk these things through. And I do want to remind you of one thing. I put these talking segments together as a podcast after the show. And many times, I think kids who play the car line competition in the morning, well, they get out of the car before they hear themselves on the radio. Well, that's part of the podcast as well. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. You can find it over on Spotify. Just type in Lifeline Morning Show Podcast there. And at the top of our website, it'll be there under the Lifeline menu tab for the podcast. So it'll be there at 10:15 this morning. All right, that'll do it. I'll see you right back here tomorrow from 6 to 10 for another Lifeline Morning Show.